It's comfortable. Yeah.
All right, as always, no decisions were made in executive session. Moving on to the Finance and Facilities Committee, Chair Caswell.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a presentation tonight. And Donna, if you would introduce our speaker tonight.
Sure.
You're gonna review for us the audited financials from the
Yes.
previous completed year.
Evening, Connie Pitzik here. She's a principal of the Bonneville Group. She's been a member of the college audit team since 2018 when they began the Bonneville managing our audits, and she's going to take us through the fiscal year 24 results.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kylie Pitzik. I am a certified public accountant and certified fraud examiner with the Bonneville Group and was the principal on your audit engagement. We completed the audit and here just to go over a high level review of the audit results and answer any questions that any of you may have.
Oh, enjoyable. Yeah.
Starting out off with the scope of our services, we completed the college's financial statements in accordance with the government auditing standards, and then we also completed the uniform guidance audit, and that's the audit on the federal dollars of the college. For a summary of the overview of the audit results, we issued an unmodified opinion that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with GAAP. An unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance that we as auditors can give you. Also within the large financial report is the management's discussion and analysis that provides a summary of like an overview of all the financials as of August 31st, 2024, and anything that may affect the college in the future. For further results, there were no internal control or compliance findings over financial reporting and no findings with the federal program internal controls. A big thank you to Donna, the business office, and all the staff for all of their hard work. Audits are very much a collaborative effort and always very timely, always responsive to all of our requests, and it makes it a very smooth, good audit. So thank you again. One of the deliverables we provided you is the required communications letter, just to go over some of the key points that are mentioned in that report. First, starting off with the most sensitive accounting estimates reported in the financial statements. Those would be the compensated absences, the depreciable lives of capital assets, the other post-employment benefits obligation, which is GASB 75, and then the net pension asset and liability and the related deferred outflows and inflows for those, and that's your GASB 68. All of those estimates were analyzed and evaluated and were considered reasonable. There were no significant difficulties in performing the audit or dealing with management, no disagreements with management, and we are not aware that management consulted with any other accountants. Our discussions with management were the normal course of our professional relationship, and our responses were not a condition of our retention. To go over some key high-level financial highlights, starting off with the statement of net position, which can be found on page 10 of the financial report. Current assets landed at year end at about $36.4 million, which that consists of the cash, receivables, and prepaid expenses. The non-current assets, about $85.8 million, that consists of the capital assets, lease receivables, and your net pension asset. Deferred outflows, about $17.6 million, that's the pension and OPEB, again, GASB 68 and GASB 75. Current liabilities, about $15.77 million. Those are your accounts payable, your accruals, your unearned revenue. Then the non-current liabilities, about $133 million. That's the compensated absences, leases, the net pension liability, and your OPEB, the other post-employment benefits liability. Deferred inflows came in at about $26.0 million. Pensions, OPEB, leases, and TAP. And then lastly, for that report, that position landed at a deficit of $34.9 million, but that is primarily the result of OPEB. OPEB came in at about $102.8 million, so if that were to be taken out of the equation, you wouldn't be at that deficit. So that's very standard, that drives the deficit for the statement of that position. Moving on to the statement of revenue expenses and the change in net position, a few key highlights there to mention. That position decreased about $3.3 million when comparing fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2023. Total operating revenue was $24.3 million. Operating expenses were about $79 million. Non-operating revenue was about $50 million. And other additions were $1.4 million. Moving on to the next report, that's called the Government Auditing Standards Report, which is also called the Yellow Book Report. No material weaknesses and no significant deficiencies were reported, and no instances of non-compliance material to the financial statements were reported. Next up, the single audit, which is the Uniform Guidance Report. The major federal program that we selected to test for that fiscal year was student financial aid. Student financial aid, about $13.6 million out of a total $15.4 million of federal expenses, that monies that were spent during the fiscal year 24. And then the report on compliance for each major program and on internal control over compliance required by the uniform guidance. Again, unmodified opinion on the compliance, highest level of assurance that we as auditors can give you. And again, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies related to those internal controls over federal awards. So that's what I have for tonight. I'm open to any questions that any of you may have. And again, thank you very much to Donna and the business office. Always wonderful working with them to ensure a smooth, successful audit.
I just want to kind of give kudos to Donna and her team. I think we have heard year after year, really glowing reports from our external auditors, which speaks volumes to what you and your team do on a daily basis for this to be possible. So keep up the good work.
If I could add, since there's some new people in the audience, the OPEB number that looks so horrible and big for liability wasn't always required. It's been recently required since I've been up as a trustee up here. And we're not allowed to actually add funds to get rid of that liability, but but it has to be reported. So it always looks like, what? That's scary. I remember the first time President Eddington saw it, she would get rid of that. It's not allowed. It's legal. You must disclose it. So, but there's nothing we can do about it. So it's every institution faces these same sort of issues.
It's very standard. You know, if you take that out of the equation, you'd be right there at a positive bottom line.
Yep.
So that's very standard across the board for all of our entities that we audit.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Anything else for finance and business?
Yeah, we got a couple of other things. We had our committee meeting back on Monday, March 10th. So obviously we got the quick update on the financial statements. So thank you again, Colleen, for being here tonight. Okay. Dr. Jordan also provided the committee a brief overview of the budget parameters presentation. It was given to members of the Dutchess County Legislature's executive team. DCC will provide a similar presentation with members of the county's execs team in April. So we're following a similar pattern of last year of having some preliminary meetings with the county to try to, keep things open and no surprises, suddenly come a presentation in the summer. So First meeting went well, and, we'll have another update, a second update with the legislature and one to come with the county exec's office. Couple of other items, that we discussed in committee. We reviewed the bid for the refurbishment of the, Bound Hall fire escape. The October 2024 fire inspection issued a significant violation on the, fire escape. As per International Fire Code, the fire escape is required to be fully maintained for full instant use and other emergency services. So an RFP for repairs and recertification has been issued to bring the fire escape into compliance. And an inspector has been scheduled to conduct a reinspection. So again, a required thing that, I'll read a resolution for that at the board meeting tonight. Committee also reviewed a bid for marketing and communication services. Purpose of this contract is a strategic investment to make a strong push for fall 2025 enrollment at DCC. The funding will come from various grants and the SUNY Revitalization funds, not from the operating budget or the fund balance. So it was good to get funding for these things outside of our operating budget. So, thanks for acquiring and obtaining all those grants. Always helpful. So,
Grants.
yes. The committee reviewed the resolution and supporting documentation for the use of the proceeds on the sale of assets to invest in the DCC Association, as well as MOA with Dutchess Community College and the association. So, we continue to discuss that, and it's key to support the residence hall. It's a key asset of the college, and it's critical to the continued growth of the college. So, we will continue those discussions, next month as well. Let's see. We did have an update. Dr. Jordan gave us, he talked to us about the status of the CFO search, as well as the couple of resignations from the CIO and CISO and his plans for replacements. So that's all well underway, and I know the CFO search has ended since the meeting, so we'll get more on that later. That basically is it for the Finance Committee.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the DCC Foundation, certainly a lot going on at the foundation this week. Diana, I'm surprised that you're joining us.
Make this quickly. $10,000 gift was received from the James J. McCann Charitable Trust for the McCann Scholarship Endowment. And also a $10,000 gift was to increase the Jean and Carl Needy Scholarship Endowment. Key Bank pledged $5,000 for incoming scholarships. Foundation sponsored the State of the College address and reception. The year-end appeal had 73 new donors with an increased giving of over $34,000 compared to the previous year. Congratulations. The gala is this upcoming Saturday, if you didn't know that already, March the 29th, and they have sold over 375 tickets and on a path to raise more money than last year. The foundation is looking at new signage for the office and the Alumni Hall of Fame wall, which will be relocated to Bound Hall to accommodate its expansion. Of course, the upcoming events, which the big one is the gala this Saturday. If you haven't gotten your tickets, please do so. There are still some left, right? Not many. But a few.
Yeah.
Honors convocation, May the 14th at the Grandview. Invitations will go out at the end of March, and the golf tournament is May the 19th. Can Golf Course, save the date, and postcards are in the mail.
Thank you very much. DCC Association.
The association has not met, but a subgroup of us who are dealing with the dormitory refinancing met with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York to explore possible financing that way. We originally went through the county's IDA, which ensured that we got the lowest interest rates at the time on bonds. But as you all know, M&T Bank is holding the bonds, and they've been only allowing us to refinance year to year. So our fees that we pay are really huge year to year on that, because you have to go through bond counsel, they have fees, et cetera. So we're looking for a longer term solution on this. One of the issues that we did discuss was that one of the reasons why they don't like us as an asset or as a loan, an investment is the bank. It's because we have never made the debt service coverage ratio. We have to get a waiver for it every year. And to a bank auditor from the feds, that's like, rank. So that's one of the reasons why we were looking to see you to do the investment of the 2 million over to help us get that more into balance. Steve Caswell, trustee Caswell, was talking earlier about, because one of the things the bankers kept asking is where's the break even point? And that's really elusive to prove. What they're asking for is what's the tuition with this, not much enrollment that you would be able to not make money, but also not lose money. And the problem is that there's an elastic set to the demand. So if we raise tuition a lot, I mean, our rental rates a lot, we probably have less students staying there. So that's why it's hard to figure that one out. In addition, raising it's probably going to price out some of the students who would still want to go there. So at any rate, we're still pursuing this new path forward, but we continue to pursue it as we go along. We're also going to speak, I think, with the county about if they have any thoughts about us using DASNY instead of the IDA as well. That's where we stand right now. If there's any questions? And we haven't, I'm not sure when our next meeting is, but I think we said it finally. Just can't remember.
I can't remember either.
It's in April, but anyway, we'll be meeting for it.
Thank you. Seeing nothing else before the executive committee, I'm now gonna call the board meeting to order as it is 6:30. Joya, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Bobby Biersack.
Present.
Mr. Frank Costello.
Present.
Mr. Stephen Caswell.
Present.
Ms. Dara Cloud.
Here.
Sorry. Mr. Michael Dupree.
We're going with the crowd, right?
Miss Angela Fleslin.
Present.
Miss Lisa Gardy. Mr. Ebis Guzman.
Present.
Miss Evelyn Panici. Miss Linda Pratt. Quorum present.
Frank, can you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a motion to approve the
So
agenda.
moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Agenda. No one signed up for public comment tonight?
No.
Okay, so moving on to consideration of the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? Are there any corrections that need to be made? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes carried. Moving on to academic and student affairs. Sarah, I believe that you'll be presenting this.
All right. We had a number of presentations. Matt Palmetier, the chair of the PSA, provided the committee with an update on what the Professional Service Alliance has been working on over the past few months. Matt discussed working with Human Resources on onboarding and campus tours for new employees, the PSA's interest in assigning a room for members to take Zoom calls, and their upcoming Thirsty Thursday event. Matt also shared a concern of the PSA regarding administrative turnover in hopes that the board is thinking about ways to retain good talent. The PSO report, Michael Adams, chair of the PSO, provided the committee with an update on what the PSO has been working on over the past few months. Michael discussed 3 new resolutions passed by the PSO, recommended that the board revisit and revise the current smoking policy, and conversations causing concern centered around the federal government's mandates to remove the word diversity from college scholarships and website. We have a resolution to amend the academic calendar. Should I? Yep. I'll go down to the resolved that approval is hereby given to revise the academic calendar to change the start and end date for the spring semester to January 20th, 2026 through May 12th, 2026, and revise the schedule for summer session 1 to begin on May 20th, 2026 through June 24th, 2026, and be it further resolved that this change will be effective starting in spring 2026.
Is there a motion?
Bring a second. I believe you made a motion for that, right?
That's a motion, yeah.
A second?
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries. Board policy. Chair Guzman, a shorter agenda than normal for you.
Yes, I know. Board policy, meeting, we met on Wednesday, March twelfth. Some items for consideration and approval were discussed. Approval of the policy on grant funded positions, positions. Dr. Susan Rogers reviewed a new policy on grant funded positions in keeping with the board policy on policy development. The new policy on grant funded positions was shared with all shared governance bodies for feedback and will be brought forward for board approval at this meeting. We also went over the revised investment policy. Dr. Jordan reviewed the investment policy and discussed the revisions being made to the policy to support the use of fund balance for unrestricted strategic investments document. And it also now includes a section on permitted and unauthorized investments. We went over some informational updates. Meeting with SGA leaders was held on March twelfth. We went over that a little bit. Dr. Jordan updated the committee on a meeting he held with members of the SGA to review the use of facilities for free speech policy. SGA will be working with Dr. Susan Rogers to review proposed revisions to that policy. These updates will be brought to the committee in the April timeframe. We also went over a list of policies that will need to be reviewed for 2025. And the committee reviewed and passed. We went over the professional staff resolution, PSO. The committee reviewed a past PSO resolution brought forward to Dr. Jordan. This resolution discussed their request for written communication of SUNY mandates to ensure governance, collaboration, and decision-making. We were given some reminders, general updates regarding some calendar of events for the 2024-25 year. And I do have two policies to bring forth. I offer resolution 2025-32. And be it resolved that based upon the recommendations of the policy committee and reviewed by the board of trustees, the attached policy on grant funded positions and viability review, which shall be made part of the official minutes of this meeting, is hereby approved. And be it further resolved that this policy shall be effective immediately. And be it further resolved that the board should reconsider this policy again within 5 years or earlier if it is determined revisions are needed prior to the scheduled review date.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, resolution carries. Next resolution.
I offer 2025-33, and move to its adoption, and be it resolved that based upon the recommendation of the policy committee and review by the board of trustees, the revised investment policy, which is attached and shall be made part of the official minutes of this meeting, is hereby approved. And be it further resolved that this policy shall be effective immediately, and that the board should reconsider this policy again within 5 years or earlier if it is determined revisions are needed prior to this scheduled review date.
For a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none. Please signify by saying aye. In favor? Any opposed? Resolution carries. Moving on to finance and facilities, Mr. Haswell, you already gave your report, so your resolutions this evening.
Right, so I have two resolutions tonight. The first one is resolution number 2025-34. So I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas bids were duly advertised and requested for the Bound Hall Fire Escape refurbishment, resolved that the bid received from Bound Hall Fire Escape refurbishments will be awarded to Senco Metals LLC of Patterson, New Jersey. The vendor submitting the lowest price bid in accordance with the specifications in the amount of $149,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries. Next resolution.
All right, next resolution is number 2025-35. So I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the request for proposals for marketing and communication services for the fall 2025 enrollment campaign was requested on RFP 18-2025. Be it resolved that the contract for marketing and communication services be awarded to Spark 451 of Westbury, New York, in an amount not to exceed $200,000.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, resolution carried. Personnel and community relations.
So our meeting was brief, and we basically discussed the recommendations for both promotions as well as for granting us sabbaticals. None of us had questions because these all seem, I'm very happy that we're going to be, I'm going to introduce this resolution right now. I have a resolution 2025-36, be it resolved that based upon the recommendation of the president of the college, the following faculty members are promoted in rank effective September 1st, 2025. From instructor to assistant professor, Lacey Riley, Department of Human Services. From assistant professor to associate professor, Michael Adams, Department of Performing Visual Arts, Artists and Communications. Irene Hughes, Department of Business, Aviation and Construction Professionals. Margot Lippman, Department of Performing Visual Artists and Communications. Patricia Phillips, Department of English and Humanities. Jennifer Yanati, Department of English and Humanities. And from associate professor to full professor, Holly McKay, Department of Performing Visual Arts and Communications. Joe McFadden, Department of Business, Aviation, Constructions Professions. Karen Weidel, Department of History, Government and Economics.
Second.
Any discussion? Certainly want to congratulate everyone on their accomplishments. That's wonderful in your career. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations to everyone.
Also offer resolution 2025-37 and move its adoption. Be it resolved that based upon the recommendation of the president of the college and dependent upon resources in the 2025-2026 budget, the following members of the faculty are granted a sabbatical leave for the time period and pay indicated. Ornella Napri Matsuka, Department of English and Humanities, spring semester at full pay. Thomas Winship, Department of Business, Aviation and Construction Professions, fall semester at full pay. Carl Deltres Dejut, Department of Math and Computer Science, spring semester at full pay.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries.
And that concludes my presentation.
Moving on to the report of the student trustee.
Thank you. So I have a list tonight, starting off on FGA elections. They are underway. We are having elections on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of next month. We have one person lined up to run for president, one for VP, and for the first time in 7 years, have a contested election for student trustee.
Yeah.
3 people.
3 people.
Matter of fact, Hannah, Ryan, please stand up for a minute. These are 2 of our lovely candidates in the wings. Hannah is our SGA treasurer. She is part of Model UN, also be representing Iran. I believe it is. And Ryan is a OAC VP and SGA rep, and he's criminal justice major. Yes.
Thank you for stepping up. Seriously,
Yeah.
thank you.
And Adrian, who's an RA, who's not here this evening. I don't really know him. I can't like give any information on that. We have the SGA Festival / Carnival coming up on April 10th from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. We're going to have snow cones, cotton candy, pretzels, jousting, and a dunk tank. So if you want to dunk me, please come through. We have Earth Day event on April 22nd from 12:30 till 2 p.m. on the quad in Washington. Okay, what's next? We have the career fair coming up on April 16th from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. in the gym. And then my hats off to men's basketball. They had a hell of a season. Number 1 in the country. They did lose in the quarterfinal, but hey, number 1 in the country, big deal. So hats off to them. Now, on the topic of basketball, there have been talks among FGA for competition, little friendly competition. So in my capacity as the voice of the student body, I am challenging new PSO and PSA to a basketball game for the end of the semester. Step up to the plate.
Okay, we heard it.
Game on.
One final thing. Who here has heard of the Jack Can't Cook Foundation? Show of hands at all. Okay, so they sponsor the most competitive scholarship in the country for any student leaving a school like ours. And actually, I want everyone to go to the binder, the very back. You are looking for this article. This year, we had a lot of applicants for the foundation, over 1,600 people across the country, and there's actually a DCC student in the running for a scholarship.
Wonderful, that is.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a shoo-in by any means. There is still a lot of people under 500. So, but if I do get it, big if, but if I do, Marist is free next year. No loans, no tuition aid, no nothing.
Crossing fingers.
First in BCC history if I get it, so no pressure. And that concludes my report, so thank you.
So can I now talk about this?
Oh, so yeah, at our committee meeting earlier this month, someone stole my thunder unallowed. There's decorum in these matters, and I roasted about it, called him a spoil sport, which he was. So I say by that term.
You didn't answer my question. Can I talk?
Oh,
about
yes, you
this
can,
now?
because now it's common knowledge, but before, shame. Again,
Thank you.
my report is not.
Would you like to go out of order and give your report? I don't know, I'm like stuffing us in here. So I also want to really congratulate our basketball team after our last meeting. Steve, Edith, Dr. Jordan, myself, Michael, Linda, we all went down and cheered on the team. The excitement in the room was just great. It was wonderful to see so many alumni there. So many people from the community present. Exactly, yeah. So really wonderful to see. Unfortunately, they came up short at the national tournament, but we are so proud of them and their accomplishments and everything that they did to represent DCC this year. So hopefully a lot more success there. The basketball game did just come up, so the trustees had our annual dinner with student leaders right before, and this was something that was brought up at our table as well. Scott and I got to hear, and Scott, I will warn the faculty, Scott did say that he was certain that there would be interest. So I'm not putting any pressure on you, but better step up. We will certainly, I think there was talk of doing it for DCC Cares or something like that, so really good to see that. Moving on, the DCC to Oneonta Transfer Partnership is attracting a lot of student attention. Throughout February and March, students met with the Onteora Transfer Advisor right in Drumlin Hall and were able to talk about the transfer pathways directly. Our registrar, Angela Romano, has been nominated to serve on the SUNY Student Transfer Services Subcommittee. Exciting to see Dutchess take a lead on these committees. And on February 27th, the DCC Trio program celebrated National Trio Day with a special event that brought together students, staff, and alumni. Attendees had the opportunity to learn about the history of Trio programs across the country and hear success stories from DCC's own Trio program, as well as listen to 2 inspiring updates from alumni. The State of the College address was held on February 27th. Dr. Jordan also then had the president's reception that followed. Community members, donors, and guests attended to hear the report and certainly plans for the future. This is over 150 guests. I'm pretty sure there were more than that in there, but we'll lowball that one. And over the last few weeks, marketing and communications has executed a range of strategic marketing and communication efforts to enhance visibility, engagement, and outreach for key initiatives at DCC. These include the Aviation Open House campaign. There will be on April 3rd, the Aviation Open House taking place. And there's also going to be streaming ads, video ads, radio ads, and social media leading up to that. There's also strategic storytelling and community engagement, continued efforts to keep both the DCC community and broader public informed of campus initiatives through internal and external promotion across digital, print, and social media, as well as press releases. I think we've all been receiving those recently, and they've certainly been good to see. As we heard in Frank's report, the DCC Foundation Gala is this Saturday. Looking forward to, I know that you're ahead in turnout, ahead in reservations from last year, correct? So trending in the right direction. Looking forward to that being a really successful night to raise funds for the foundation and all of our students. So I certainly hope that all of you will be joining us that evening. That concludes my report. Dr. Jordan, your president's report.
Thank you. So I want to welcome Ryan and Hannah to this board meeting and wish you the best of luck competing for that student trustee position. Ryan and Hannah been present for SGA conversations and conversations around the use of facilities and free speech policy. They've been really engaged in the college community, and I commend you for it. It was good having dinner with you earlier as well. Thanks for showing there. As I have been doing recently, I want to shout out one of four areas of the college that may be considered among the unsung heroes here at DCC. And this month, I want to shout out our business office. Donna just got accolades and kudos on the financial statements. I want to recognize those individuals who are handling the accounting for the college, the accounts receivables and accounts payables, the payroll folks who make sure we get our checks and make sure that bills are paid and so forth. So please join me in commending our business office and business services folks here at the. In that spirit, also, you heard that our search for the next DCC CFO has come to a close. We have selected our next CFO, and his name is Dennis Dentino. And Dennis will start on Saturday. He'll be joining us for the foundation gala, and his first day on the job will be April 1st. That was the fastest we've sort of onboarded someone from search to appointment, but
Congratulations.
yes, it's good to have them. We'll also have starting on April 1st, our new CIO, who is Jason Bryan. Jason comes to us from LaGuardia Community College, where he is CIO. He will have a much easier commute, not having to wake up at 4:30 in the morning or leave home at 4:30 in the morning to get to Long Island City. Tomorrow, I will be joining the Chancellor and presidents across SUNY to talk in Albany about Chancellor and President's things. I don't think I can tell you more at this point because it hasn't happened yet, of course. But among the things that we will be doing tomorrow include some advocacy work focusing on the One House bill and the executive budget to advocate for free community college, to advocate for 30 million in additional operating funding to come to community colleges, advocating for the floor as well as maintenance of the 8 million that came to us this year. So all of those things are on the table, and we plan to be talking to our state delegation members about those items. The last thing I'll put out there is that we are still in a very uncertain world as it comes to the Federal Department of Education and the funds that flow to DCC, but also other community colleges from federal government. Here at DCC, between Pell Grants to students and other grant funds that we have to support Perkins programs, as well as our Title III program and the C Campus grant that supports our childcare program. That's to the tune of some $15 million. And we take a huge hit if that any part of that wasn't there. So we continue to stay tuned to what's happening in Washington and talking to our professional associations and anyone who we think can help to make sure that we're getting current information about what is happening and so forth. But we are in a tense and tenuous kind of situation at this point, and we'll certainly keep the board and the college community apprised of what's happening. So more to come, but it's important that we keep talking to our congressional members of our congressional delegation. Whenever we have the opportunity, our students have done a fabulous job in terms of reaching out and telling their stories. And right now, there's a campaign going on to collect student stories to send off to our elected officials in Washington and at the state capitol and anywhere we can find them as well. So that, Madam Chair, is my report.
Thank you very much. Good luck at your meeting tomorrow, the Chancellor and your fellow presidents. Is there any other business to come before?
I have a quick comment.
Yeah.
It's related to personnel, but I just wanted to let everybody know that when I had the chance to sit in with Peter to do the interview with the two finalists for the CFO position, they were both great candidates, serious. I looked at Peter and I went, toss the coin. They had different personalities, but their leadership styles, the amount of information they knew, the capabilities was really high, and it just made me feel good because it means that Dutchess is still attracting quality individuals.
Absolutely. Good to know. Anything else? Wonderful. Our next meeting will be April 22nd. Hope to see all of you on Saturday. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great night.
Under an hour. Way to go.